Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, or tonight actually, I'm going to tell you the story of my first birth, which is also a home birth. I told you guys a lot leading up to the birth and kind of things that happened, and you know that I was very eager to be in labor. I was very tired of being pregnant. And you also know that I planned an unassisted home water birth, and I didn't have a doula set to come when I was in labor. So I was due the 13th of May in 2015, and I gave birth on May 25th, 2015. And so I was about 41 plus 5, I think, if I get that correct. Yeah, so as I said, very exhausted, was tired of being pregnant, and it was Sunday morning. And I woke up about 2:30. I remember them starting at 2:30, and I was very restless in bed, kept waking up to tightenings that were uncomfortable. Not really painful, they were just uncomfortable. And then I remember they kind of went on for a bit, and then around 4:30, I was just like, yeah, these aren't letting up. I can't really sleep. And it being Sunday morning, I knew that my parents, or my dad, he always goes to the organic markets in the city on Sunday morning. And my mum, I had my mum set to come to birth with me. I gave Dad a call and was like, he'll be up, I'm not waking them up. And said, can you put Mum on? I kind of explained how I'm feeling, like they're not really stopping, and they were pretty regular, every 5 or 10 minutes, maybe even less than 10 minutes, that they were coming. So yeah, I said to her, just letting me know. So she said that she'd be around when Dad was home from the markets, which was supposed to be about 9:30 that morning. So I called her, so then we kind of got up. I went and told Keelan. I was like, yeah, this is happening. Got up, was like, yeah, awesome, cool. We needed to set up the birth pool. I think we had most of the candles and everything organized.
There's no pause button. That's what I keep telling you. Okay, Rebecca, tell the audience something.
I want my waters to break. Yep, forget reading that.
Who are you sending it to?
And
That's it, sweetie. Breathe in, breathe out.
yeah, so about 7:30, they kind of started, they weren't as intense anymore. They kind of started dipping off further and further apart, and I was just like, whoa, no, this isn't happening. I'm in labor, they can't stop. I don't want them to stop, no way, I'm not going back to waiting. I was just like, this is not happening. And so I put some clary sage essential oil on my belly and on my feet, because I know that stimulates things. It definitely did, because sure enough, soon, not long later, the contractions had started up quite fast, quite quickly, and they were consistent every 5 to 2 minutes for the rest of the labor. Looking back now, and from doing more research, I actually realized my body, because I had a really long labor, as you'll find out soon, but my body was probably trying to rest to kind of get a bit more energy, knowing that it would be a long time. Our bodies do that when we're in labor sometimes. Sometimes when someone stalls, it's not actually stalling, it's their body taking time to rest because they know the labor is going to be long. So I know that, and I 100% believe that was what was happening. Mum and Dad got there about 9:30, 10, I think. Not a whole lot happened. It was just kind of moving through the contractions. I felt a bit sick around lunchtime. We thought maybe I was going through transition, but that wasn't it. Yeah, so I got in and out of the pool all day. it just continued. I got more tired, exhausted. Got to the end of the night, couldn't really think properly because it was just consistent and painful, and just kept coming and coming and coming. I had contractions that would go, you know, on top of each other, and then like barely a minute in between, and then I'd get like 5 minutes in between, and it was just hectic. At night in the pool, I was so exhausted that I was like falling asleep in between contractions, and then I'd have a dream that I was having a contraction and would come out of that dream and be like, whoa, am I still having a contraction? It was so confusing. I love about it now, but it was kind of really weird at the time. Both my parents were there because my youngest brother was only 5 months old at the time. He was great with taking water out of the pool and putting hot water back into the pool to keep it the right temperature. You're not supposed to be in the pool for more than 2 or 2.5 hours at a time during labor. Honestly, everyone that says that a water birth helps with pain, it really does. And then things kind of just kept going. As I said, I was really exhausted and really stressing out, and really was being verbal with how I was feeling. I was not handling at all. And it was later that night, I'm not sure exactly what time, towards the later part of that night, when I went to the toilet and my bloody shirt appeared. And I was like, yes, something's happening. I really thought that was like a clear progress. I'm like, yeah, awesome. I obviously wasn't examining myself. I didn't feel the need to examine myself. I probably wouldn't know what to feel, honestly, with my first labor. So didn't know where I was. Then it just, you know, we kind of thought that was a progress, but it was, but it wasn't exactly how I wanted it to be. Labor didn't progress into the second stage. It just kept going. My body just kept contracting, and they just kept being on top of each other. The boys ended up getting some sleep, uncomfortable sleep, but they got some sleep on the couches that night. And just throughout the night, Mum was my stronghold. She was amazing. I would sit on the, you know, my exercise ball, and like she would make me breathe. Like that was my biggest problem, is I didn't know how to breathe properly through the contractions to get through them, and that I wasn't getting enough oxygen in, and then I wasn't able to release oxytocin properly, all the endorphins into my body properly. And so that was a really big issue. So Mum really tried to help. She was great. And I was just, before she was there helping me, I was just losing it. I never thought I'd be vocal with my contractions in labor, but I was really vocal. So fast forward, because not a whole lot happened. It was kind of the same stuff. Towards the morning, it was just didn't seem to be progressing at all. We weren't really sure kind of what to think. And so my mum that morning contacted the door that she had for her pregnancy, and who I had seen a couple times. And then she actually ended up being willing to come round, and was awesome. She got there, I think, about lunchtime. And Mum talked to her about 9:30 that morning, and she was around about lunchtime when she came round. I felt so much better with her being there. It didn't necessarily get easier. It just, I don't know, there's something about having someone in the room with the presence that she had.
This is a magical moment. This is what's happening right here at home. Nothing else is important but what's happening right here in your lounge room.
This is like one of the things that made me want to be a doula, because she just sat there half the time and she just watched me. You know, she was just that strong person that was like, you know, kind of giving off the air of it's gonna be okay and this is normal and you just, you know, just keep going. And she would encourage me to, you know, find the position that was good for me. And, you know, she's like, just keep moving, just keep finding the right one. And I kept moving, and I was really loud, but in my noise she tried to help me bring the tones lower so that I could, my body could focus down, because if I had higher tones of my voice, then it was kind of like going the opposite direction than where my baby needed to go. So I was like, you know, often leaning, you know, pushing myself up against the side of the couch to then laying my back on the floor, and then no, I'm on my side on the floor, and then I'm on my hands and knees. Like, it was just, I was constantly moving to try and make it better. I don't know when it started, but sometime that morning around the time, either just before she arrived or not long after she arrived, I'm pretty sure is when I started transitioning. And that was when it was just like, I was just moving and moving and moving. And I think that's why, it was because I was in that position where I just was like, nothing's good, nothing's working, more so than, you know, the time leading up to that. I think it's really important to keep your water intake up and to keep eating, to keep your energy uptake as well. So I was doing all of those things, getting in and out of the water. And then when I ended up transitioning into the second stage, it was interesting because it was supposed to, in my head, it was supposed to not hurt the same way the contractions do when you're in your second stage pushing. But actually, I took a little bit to kind of move from contractions in my belly to the urge of pushing, because it ended up being in my lower back as his head moved down into, like, further down into my birth canal, and it was excruciating.
Really hurts.
I was in the pool for most of that, but she said it was just his head moving down my birth canal, and that's why I was like on my spine. He must have like been in a not very good position, and so as he turned and came down, it was like pushing on my spine, or it was pushing on my pelvis anyway. So I remember that experience was horrible and really difficult to deal with, but at least I didn't have it all like in my belly in the same way that it did with the contractions before I transitioned. And then once I was in that second stage, I kind of wasn't really getting a whole lot of urges to push, and so, you know, she kind of was like, okay, let's find which leg was it that opened my pelvis wider. So, you know, let's lift that leg up and see if I can push with that. And I couldn't stand up and do that. It was just not possible. And then she kind of noticed that, you know, I wasn't really getting a whole lot of urges to push. So she suggested that I hop out of the pool maybe and squat against the door to get his chin down, because she figured that, and she's so smart, but she figured that must have been the issue, which his chin wasn't down, and to get his chin down I needed to be in that specific position. We had a mirror, we was kind of checking where he was, and oh my gosh, the first time that I could feel his head was amazing. It was like, yes, I'm doing this. It was such a feeling of achievement. Like, I hadn't given birth yet, but knowing that he was right there, it was awesome. And then from squatting with my back against the door, I then moved into sitting between two chairs to get his head down all the way. But I had to make sure I didn't get him down too far, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get back in the pool. So we got his head down, and I've got some pretty graphic images of that. I will not share them. TMI, but yeah, they're pretty awesome graphic pictures, I think, of like his head coming down and it just being right there. And being, like, it might sound weird to some people, but if you've given birth before and you've done this, you'll understand. But being able to feel their head, like I had my hand on his head the whole time with both my births. It's so awesome, and it feels amazing to just feel that kind of progression. So as soon as I got his head down, I got back in the water and I assumed a squatting position. And this was the best position. I don't know why I hadn't tried it before, but it was definitely the position for me. And honestly, as soon as that happened, like all this time, you know, it was getting darker and darker. I have to say, when I was out of the pool pushing, I had like sweat dripping off me. I didn't realize until I put my hand up to like move my hair out of the way. And I was just like, whoa, I'm really sweating. I know that it was around this time, even probably for a little bit of time before I got in the pool, that I'd switched to the other part of my brain, my birthing part of my brain, where if you've read about it, you'll understand, which is pretty much when you go into the second stage of labor, your brain goes from being aware of everything and being able to interact and respond to everything around you to going in to your body and listening to everything that's going on in the baby, to be really attentive and aware. And that's what happened to me. I went into there and I don't really remember much that was going on around me. I could hear certain things, but I wasn't really, like, if you know what I mean, I wasn't really hearing it to pay attention to, take it in properly. I was just focusing on me, and it was a very different second stage from first stage, because first stage, as I said, I was really, really loud dealing with contractions, but in my second stage, I was really quiet. And it was a peaceful moment. Like, I was like, yeah, this is happening. The urge to push was really strong, and it didn't take that much, but I know looking back at video, it's kind of funny because there's a part where, like, I'm pushing obviously, and then I birth his head. And to me, I kind of said it quite loudly, saying, oh, his head's born. But in the video, I actually whisper it. And then also in the video, like, quite a few minutes pass, like maybe even at least 5 minutes pass before his body's born, because we don't actually capture that on video, which is a bit disappointing. Some minutes pass, and to me it felt like seconds. It felt like it really wasn't that long at all from his head being born and then the rest of his body, which again explains kind of like where I was in my brain. I just wasn't able to conceive time. It just wasn't the same. And yeah, so then he was born. He came out into the water. I caught him, which was awesome, and then just kind of brought him up and sat back into Keelan, who was behind me. And it was, it just kind of all happened, and we were just sitting there. I was like, wow, he's here. And I was like saying hello, and it was amazing. And then Mum and Dad came in and they were taking pictures. I don't remember exactly how much time I had in the pool, but it wasn't a whole lot. Hey guys, so I just realized that I didn't finish telling my story before the camera stopped. So I just had him, and my doula told me to take off my bra so that I could do skin to skin properly with him. And then a little bit later, I think probably about 5-10 minutes later, she recommended that I hop out of the pool and to monitor my blood loss, and also to like see if he would attach and see if I had like any tears or anything. So I hopped onto the couch out of the pool, kind of got wrapped up in a towel, and just kind of lay there for a little bit, assessed that I had a 2nd degree tear, but it wasn't too bad, didn't need stitches, which was awesome. Then after that, I sat between 2 chairs to see if I could get to wait for the placenta, and had a bucket underneath me. And not long after that, I was drinking a green powder drink. I don't remember exactly what it is, sorry. And then soon after that, a little bit of pressure, and I think did a bit of a push, and the placenta was born. And it was really simple and easy. I had no pain compared to my second birth. I had no pain getting the placenta out. That's kind of how everything planned out. Mum and Dad cleaned up everything for us. It was great to have my parents there, and it was great to have my doula there as well. She was amazing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed listening and watching this video. Please click like if you did, and remember to click subscribe if you haven't already for a new video every week. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.